let's queer up the USA view. Right-wing anti-trans internet activists busted for child pornography. An Indiana man with a history of posting far-right and anti-trans memes on social media has been arrested and charged with the possession of child sexual abuse material. Eldon W. Phelps, 25, of Lebanon, Indiana, was arrested in August after the Boone County Sexual Assault and Child Exploitation Task Force linked him to an image of a prepubescent girl being sexually assaulted by an adult man. Investigators are currently performing forensic reviews of material found on the computer and other devices seized from Phelps. His trial is scheduled for December. Following the news of Phelps' arrest and charge, one user of X, formerly known as Twitter, found many anti-trans memes and news stories shared by Eldon on his Facebook account. His account is full of transphobic posts along with anti-vaccine, pro-gun, misogynistic, medical misinformation, anti-immigrant, and conspiracy theory memes. He has also posted multiple videos featuring social media personality Andrew Tate, who has also been charged with sexual assault and human trafficking in Romania. It's, it doesn't even surprise me anymore, I don't know if you guys read Joe My God, who is Joe Jervis. He runs a blog for a long, long time. He highlights inappropriate behavior from priests and politicians and stuff, and a lot of it deals with this kind of material. Never a drag queen. I never have seen a drag queen doing any of that, but every time an anti-trans person come out, I'm like, well, when are they going to get arrested for this crap? It's almost like they're just projecting their hatred on something else.
It's so clear. I mean, it's it's kind of like a manual. They all follow the same manual. All these people are creating all these, controversy and always, yelling the loudest. You don't have to dig very deep and you find all this crap.
Absolutely.
It's always the craziest, the dirtiest, the wackos that are creating all these situations. Never the drag queens reading to kids at school. So it's never like that. It's always these freaks that are basically hiding something, like you said.
Yeah, the call's always coming from inside the house. There's a
inside their house.
there's this trans activist and lawyer, Kristen Brady, who's the vice president of the LGBT Democratic Caucus in Florida, and she has a series on TikTok. It's who's making headlines for child sex trafficking or child sex crimes, and she goes through every single week and she runs up the tallies of their professions and their identities and all those different things, and it shows that trans people are significantly underrepresented in having perpetrated a lot of these child sexual abuse crimes, and also there hasn't been a single drag queen. Not a single drag queen in the entire United States. The ones that are the most common are family members. Of course, we know that oftentimes child sexual abuse happens from a family member or friend.
A clergy.
And the other one are people in the broad field of religion. So pastors, youth group leaders in churches, all those sorts of things, clergy members are some of the most common.
And the majority seem to be cis white males.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
Right.
Heterosexual. And not to be petty, but do they all use the same stylist? Because every one of those shots, they all look the same.
Yeah, the
neck beard, busted.
Yes.
It's the beard and then the messy.
They're reading the same manual. They're reading the same manual.
He looks Amish.
It's always projection. I was at the Miami-Dade County School Board meeting last month when they voted whether or not
Boys were there.
And they voted on whether or not to recognize October as LGBT History Month, and it was unfortunately we had chipped a few votes away, which was good, but they unfortunately did not pass. And we saw people come up to the podium one after another, calling us groomers and pedophiles and some of the worst things you'd ever see. We saw Proud Boys outside the building that had a shirt that said "Shoot your local pedophile," and time again, it's those very people who are actually caught doing a lot of these crimes that they're yelling at other people.
I mean, I think there's a recent, actually, I think Joe just reported that an LDS leader, they call themselves nursery leader, and that makes my skin crawl.
Nursery?
Yeah, he got arrested, producing child sexual abuse material. Yeah, just great. Don't let this white man get anywhere near children, please.
And I also think it's so interesting. Again, when we talk about projection and the ways in which these things are projected, a lot of the things that conservatives advocate against actually prevent child sexual abuse. Things like comprehensive sex education, right? Doing that in an age-appropriate way at an early age, knowing what part of your body is okay for other
mental
people
health counseling,
not. Yeah. Right? To be able to communicate, I know this thing that is happening to me is wrong, and I know that I need to tell someone about that. You can do that in an age-appropriate way.
Absolutely.
And it saves young people
That's right.
lives.
But they just want hysteria. Like, that's what they want.
Well, a lot of it,
hysteria.
there's so much involved in religion. As a pastor's kid, as a child who was sexually abused by an older man from the church, like there are so many things that play into that, and one of the biggest issues is that anything sexual was not talked about.
Right.
You don't talk about it. It's something you figure it out on your wedding night, because you don't have sex before your wedding night, and so you shouldn't know that much about it, because if you think about it, then you're going to sin, you're going to lust after this or that. And meanwhile, I'm watching G.I. Joe, having a good time, lusting after him. But there was no one explaining to me what that was or what the feelings I had were. And it's just, what you said is right on the nose. There needs to be communication, age-appropriate communication about what things are. And it's not hard to do. It just, there's just a lot of fear-based mongering kind of things that happen, shooting your local pedophile being one of them. But I don't know. Is this me? Am I supposed to talk? Man, this has been a good discussion. I like you guys.